There's a lot of families in Guelph that go significant periods of time without fresh fruits and vegetables, and the number of people in Guelph that were actually food insecure, it was shocking. This idea came to mind. We're like, well, this is just a communication issue. We just need to find a way to tell people that the emergency food providers need certain types of food and everything, and the types of food that they can take. It naturally seemed like a good fit for bringing it to the classroom, and so that's what we brought to the classroom in September of 2012.
So the first thing I want to tell you is that around the world there's 1 billion people who are going without food. They're food insecure. And food insecurity is basically anyone who is not able to feed themselves on a regular basis. They're either skipping meals because they can't afford to get the food, or the food is just not available. So 1 billion people around the world, that's 1 in 7.
So my name is Dan Gillis, and my role with Farm to Fork, I'm one of the co-founders of the project.
In Guelph, we're not doing much better. We have, I think the last number I read was 16% of our households are food insecure. That's almost 1 in 5 households.
The big problem right now is that most people, they know that they can bring peanut butter, Kraft Dinner, all these non-perishable items to the food bank, but what they don't know is that food banks, a lot of the food banks and pantries can actually accept milk and apples and bananas and all these fresh fruits and veggies that no one ever thinks to donate because everybody's been taught not perishable items. And there is a huge need for the non-perishable items, but if everybody's bringing in peanut butter and Kraft Dinner and what have you, that's all that the people receive. And that clearly doesn't make a nutritious, well-balanced sort of diet in any way, shape, or form. You need the veggies, you need the fruits and all that sort of stuff. So the Farm to Fork website is essentially set up so that as a donor I can sign up to the system. I identify the day that I typically go grocery shopping, and then I also identify a food bank or food pantry that's nearby. I connect with them, and then when I go grocery shopping on that particular day, the website will send out an email to me identifying all the specific needs of the emergency food provider. So the emergency food providers themselves, they can go in and they can edit their list of needs, so they can keep it updated to be seasonal. They can put in whatever they need, and that gets sent out to the donors whenever they go shopping. So.
107. A lot of people clean out, there's a food drive and they clean out their cupboards, and you end up with, a can of artichoke hearts and a can of beets and usually cranberry sauce. You get a lot of cranberry sauce from food banks. And so it's stuff that you wouldn't necessarily eat. That's why you're taking it out of your cupboard. So why are you thinking I should have to eat it? So my name is Tina Brophy, and I'm a community member here in Guelph, and I sit on the Poverty Task Force, the Task Force for the Elimination of Poverty, and a group called Community Voices and Bridges Out of Poverty. And I live on ODSP every month, which is for disability. I have Crohn's disease. And I am really active in the community trying to get the word out about poverty awareness. It's really emotional. I mean, it's really sad when you see people that really, through no fault of their own, are suffering and are hungry. Children being hungry, moms going without so that their kids are eating. It's so sad, and in such a great, prosperous country and city that there are people that are hungry. A single on welfare makes $654. So if you think about rent being probably $500, that's about $150 left for everything else. Transportation, food, phone, anything else. So obviously that doesn't go far. And you just look down upon, and you read articles, and I often read articles on social media and the comments below about the poor people getting handouts, et cetera, et cetera. It's just so disheartening and saddening, and they're talking about me. They're not just, so it hurts. I deal with that a lot. I see a lot of people who just go, I can't go. Like, I just can't do it. Whether it be to the food banks, to Chalmers, where everybody's very welcoming, but it's that first step in that's really tough. People don't want to admit that, somehow they've quote unquote failed or something. But again, if you're making $650 a month, you haven't failed. Somebody else has failed you. And, you can do your best to buy your groceries for the month, but you won't be able to. So you pay your rent and your phone bill, and you buy some food at the top of the month, and by the middle of the month on, you really just don't have access to food. You don't have money for food. A lot of places just give you a pre-made basket or hamper of things, so it's not necessarily what you eat or what you can eat, and it's kind of undignified to me that I have to take what other people have decided I should eat, and that that feeling of charity where you're getting it, so you should take it. Beggars can't be choosers is the kind of thinking, and I don't think that's really fair. So I really like places like this, like Chalmers, where you can choose. Hope House has a great little market space where you actually get points to shop. So when you go with a cart and everything and walk around and choose what you want and what you'll use and not get what you don't use.
Hope House is an organization that is working to eradicate poverty in Guelph. So we work with people to address their immediate needs, but in a way that builds skills and helps people move towards independence. I'm Lindsay Sitzma, and I'm the development director. So the food market is a really interesting way to deal with food security. We have a points-based, choice-based model. So what that means is that we give each of our clients a budget to go shopping with, and they walk through our food market and they basically shop with that budget. They get to choose all of their food items, and every food item is basically worth a certain amount of points. And so, a family of 4, for example, would get 120 points, and they go and they choose the food that suits their food needs, and they shop with those points. We see 450 visits a month, which represents anywhere between 1,500 to 3,000 people in the city who are using this service on a monthly basis. A huge piece of that as well is that we often talk about, giving people food, but I don't think people are really food secure unless they have access to good food, nutritious food, food that is going to meet the needs of their body, which is, we need fresh vegetables, we need meat or protein sources, we need to have, a good quality fuel to make us run at our optimum level. So, I think a huge piece is having access to great food, not just any kind of food. Farm to Fork is all about choice. It's all about, these are what the organizations need. Can you choose these items in a grocery store and give them to someone who has genuine need of them so that they can improve the quality of their life? So we see it as a really great partnership in that way.
So this Farm to Fork gives that what is actually needed in pantries and what is needed at different food supports, so that donators could make a knowledgeable choice of what to give.
So what I would like to see is, through the Farm to Fork system, we develop sort of gift cards that are used at the grocery stores. Grocery stores already know how to store food, transport food, and get it to where it needs to be. So why are we saying to someone who's food insecure, you need to go over to this building over here that's different than the building that everybody else goes to? To me, we're just remarginalizing people. So it doesn't instill any sort of level of respect or confidence or anything like that in the person who's, being remarginalized, that, you've got to go over to this building to get food for the month. There are a lot of stereotypes built into what people imagine someone on this type of social assistance looks like. The reality of it is that's not the case. There are a lot of families that are going to that go to the food banks and food pantries that you wouldn't ever expect. You've got single parents who are working 2 or 3 jobs and they just can't afford to buy food because the choice is either buy food or pay for rent. So we've tried to build it in such a way that the food banks and pantries could do whatever they want with the system and ask for whatever they need. And hopefully that'll make some change.